It's Tuesday the 28th of January in the Vendée Globe, the skipper's 79th day at sea. And we start off today with the La Rochelle arrivals of Benjamin Dutreux and Clarisse Cremer, where the French public came out to welcome them back home after they couldn't make it into Les Sables because it was so rough there. And then we have an interview with Clarisse Cremer, and then we look at those who are on the water. And Boris Herrmann and Sam Davies are approaching a huge storm around Cape Finisterre. And so we hear from Boris Herrmann first, and then we take a look at the tracker, the leaderboard, and PredictWind routing options for Romain Attanasio. And then finish off with clips from Kojiro Shiraishi, who was battling yesterday with a big North Atlantic swell but not much wind. And then Oliver Heer, who had to climb the mast.
A night to remember for Benjamin Dutreux. After crossing the finish line of Les Sables d'Olonne, he headed to La Rochelle to take shelter. The skippers made the top 10 of the Vendée Globe after 77 extremely intense days at sea. I excelled myself more than ever before. Whether you're up a mountain or out at sea, it's when you're in a hard place, up against the elements, that you see what you're capable of. It's just huge. At 4:36, it was Clarisse Cremer's turn to share the emotion. Who's just crossed the Vendée Globe finish line, all alone, in the middle of the night, on my own, just as chuffed. Fraction, under 78 days. What a relief. Clarisse met up with Benjamin this afternoon whilst they waited for the weather to calm sufficiently to sail up Les Sables d'Olonne Channel and enjoy further celebrations.
Yeah, it's true that my preparation for this Vendée Globe was not exactly easy. It's been a roller coaster of emotions and struggles, and I'm so proud of this team. This team made it happen, and it was not easy to make it happen. We had to qualify, we had to be here, and at the start of the Vendée, I didn't really know what I could pretend about the performance, and I think it was above my expectations. So I'm super happy about what we managed to do with this boat and the whole team. And it hasn't been easy, but we've been well rewarded.
How hard was it compared to your first Vendée Globe?
It was super different from my first Vendée Globe. I think last time I struggled a lot emotionally. I was discovering so much, and I was scared I was not going to make it because it's so much on your body, it's so much on your mind. And this time I knew I could make it, so it makes a big difference. And but this time I wanted to push harder, so I pushed harder. So that made it difficult, but in a different way.
While Benjamin Dutreux and Clarisse Cremer sit it out in La Rochelle waiting for the wind to die down before they can make it to Les Sables d'Olonne, for Boris Herrmann and Sam Davies it's a case of trying to get in between two storms to round Cape Finisterre to make it into the Bay of Biscay, and it is a tight gap. Let's hear from Boris now.
Hi everyone, almost there. 168 miles to my waypoint near Cape Finisterre. That's about, at this speed, 12 hours. And from there I should be able to curve around the Cape. Was a good distance of 50-60 miles to avoid any too bad sea state or catastrophic sea state near the continental shelf. So yeah, we have pretty full-on conditions, but sunshine, as you can see, and we have the smallest possible sail. We have just the main sail, reef 3, but that's pretty small, and no head sails. I furled them up to go not too slow, not too fast down the waves. Pretty impressive waves when I look out the window, but sometimes they knock us down. That means a wave suddenly hits the back and the boat curves into the wind and heels over a lot. But so far that has happened 4 times. since the storm began, and so far it seems manageable. The pilot gets the boat back on track without any particular help from me. I'm happy when this is over. I'm a bit tense. Oops. And then we see possible ETA 29th or 30th. We will see what conditions we get. The models don't agree 100% yet on the situation, the Bay of Biscay, but the worst should be really today until tomorrow, let's say until tomorrow 11 UTC. So just 20 hours now, and then that should be the last big exam of this Vendée Globe, hopefully. If everything holds together like this, then we should be fine. And yeah, please don't give us much more wind or waves. A bit more is forecasted to come, but I hope it's going to stay manageable. We have sometimes had a few big squalls I had one with 64 knots, so then I bear away. But for now I can hold my course. Fingers crossed, wish us luck, and talk to you tomorrow.
On the tracker, we can see both Boris Herrmann and Sam Davies are on the approach to Cape Finisterre with those strong winds barrelling down from the northwest. They've got a small window. If we look forward 12 hours in the forecast, we can see those lighter winds as they make it round the corner, which will be coming from the southwest for a while. But move forward 24 hours and the purples are back. Those are the winds from 45 to 50 knots, and they're trying to get into the southern part of the Bay of Biscay before those hit, and it's going to be a tight operation for them both. And if we look towards Les Sables and the finish, if you look just south of them, you can see both Benjamin Dutreux and Clarisse Cremer safely in La Rochelle. They're going to wait for lighter winds to join the rest of the finishers in Les Sables. In 14th place, Romain Attanasio is firmly committed for the route north of the Azores exclusion zone. This is due to the way that the winds have played out. It means they've got prevailing winds, whereas if they went to the east of the Azores exclusion zone, they would be facing headwinds as they went up past Madeira. Behind Attanasio, we can see a group that is very tightly bunched, led by Giancarlo Pedote and Damien Seguin. But we can see Conrad Coleman has made huge gains. We've been discussing this for the last couple of weeks, how he's been catching up on this group. And he is now just 10 nautical miles off being the leading daggerboard boat. North of the equator, we can see that Guirec Saudet is approaching the latitude of the Cape Verde Islands. And we're going to hear from Kojiro Shiraishi in a bit, and it looks like he's now into those northeasterly trade winds, and as we'll see, he endured a difficult day yesterday. In the South Atlantic, we have the final six of Antoine Cornic, Oliver Heer, Jinkun Zhu, Manuel Cousin, Fabrice Amadeo, and then Dennis van Weenberg. On the leaderboard at 0600 hours UTC, we're just going to look at 12th downwards, i.e. the ones who haven't finished. Boris Herrmann, 444 nautical miles to go, but they could be some of the most difficult of the race. Same Sam Davies, 527 nautical miles to go. She's got to get round that corner ahead of the storm, and so that is quite concerning. And then we've got Romain Attanasio, who is taking that northern course, 1,600 nautical miles to go. Giancarlo Pedote, we can see 2,098 nautical miles to go, but take a look at Conrad Coleman, under 30 nautical miles away from him in 20th place. This group is really tightly packed now. The PredictWind routing options for Romain Attanasio in 14th place, compiled by sailworld.com's New Zealand editor Richard Gladwell, show him riding that southeast end of the next low pressure system before coming towards the Bay of Biscay and then having to contend with light winds on the final approach into Les Sables d'Olonne.
1月の27ですね。ひどい一日ですね。大きな雲に 入りまして、貿易風のうねりは来るんですけど、風がですね25ノットから、少なくて3ノットうねりはあるんですけど今風がなしと。でトップスコールが25ノットのスコールが来るということでなかなか走れません。もう眠れないし走れないですということで、ものすごく風の方向強さうねり、もうひっちゃかめっちゃかですね。はいということで今日は残念ながらうまく走れてないといった状況。はい、この雲から出てね安定的な風が欲しいなと思います。いや結構苦労の多い一日です。一面ずっと今日はね、曇りで、風が不安定ということです。まあこういう日もねありますね。早く北上したいと帰りたいっていうのはあるんですけどなかなか前へ進めない状況です。以上です。元気よくチャオ。
Made it halfway up the mast. Beautiful view up here. Managed to fix my turning block issue. And now it's time to get back down onto the boat, even though the view is just stunning. Next stop, Les Sables d'Olonne. Woohoo! Oh, back down again, feels good. Now it's time for some lunch. Then afterwards I'll have to drop my mainsail quickly to repair this hole. Cheers, bye bye.
Thank you very much for watching today. We're going to continue bringing you the latest news from the Vendée Globe, so please do subscribe to our channel using the button down here, and take a look at sailworld.com and yachtsandyachting.com for the latest news in sailing.